Hi, in this video, we will tackle Radius server authentication, and we will start with the PPPoE sessions. First of all, Radius server is part of Splynx and is used for authentication, for grabbing statistics, for blocking of end users, and for setting up speed limitations. It also has plenty of other ways how to customize it, how to send additional attributes, and this I will show during this short video. This is the topology that we usually use, and Splynx is part of the network. If you have a network that is behind that, so we recommend to connect your main router using OpenVPN, and there is another video available about how to set it up. But here in this example, we will take a look on a regular setup where PPPoE authentication is based on router or on different routers, and customers that come from the fiber network or from wireless network can be connected or are connected to this router and authenticated. So what are the steps of PPPoE configuration? I will work with MikroTik router because it's very simple and easy to configure. And that will be the first step. Then the second step, we will take a look on IP assignments, how to make them in Splynx correctly. And then we will tackle Radius configuration. And also I want to show how to troubleshoot Splynx Radius in general. So this is our testing setup, testing lab, where I have two clients. This customer will be connected through IPoE, and this customer will be connected on PPPoE. That's why I have their servers on different interfaces, and we start with PPPoE setup. So to set up PPPoE, we need to create PPPoE server. Very simple. We call it Splynx server. We put it to interface Ethernet 3, and default profile is default. What is the most important part here in the default profile is to set up local address. It can be any IP address. So it can be private IP, public IP, whatever. This IP is not used like in the public communication. It's only used inside the tunnel for sending traffic to and from customer. Okay, so this IP should be there, any IP, as I said. And in my secrets file or in my secrets section of MikroTik, we define use radius. So this is a basic PPPoE setup. Then when we go to our radius, we need to define their radius settings, where we have PPPoE or PPP in general. We define IP address of our Splynx. We define secret and source address. So, and then inside the status, we have how many requests, accepts, rejects, all this is shown. And what is another important part is we need to enable incoming. So it means that I will be able from Splynx and from Radius to send comments to my PPPoE server to disconnect customer or change his plan, change his speed, or apply some address list to his IP address. So this is the first part of the configuration. The second part we need also, or it's also related to this basic step, we need to add my router there. When I add my router to Splynx, what I have here is that I set up this name, I select IP address, authorization and authentication and accounting, radius secret, and the model is MikroTik. So this nest type is the most important because it has the configuration that is related to this nest type. If I go to my configuration there, and if I scroll to networking, there will be radius. So if I click on radius, each nest type has own configuration. So that's why it's important to select correct nest type inside the router settings. So when this is done, my next step will be configure my customer and assign IP address. As I mentioned, and as I mentioned in my presentation here, so this step is done, the step is configured. And the second one is IP assignments, how to assign IP addresses to end user. What are the options? So first of all, we need to understand that Splynx has own IPv4 and IPv6 management. Under IPv4, we can add our networks, And from these networks, we can assign IP addresses. And as I said, there are three ways. The first way is that we can assign IP addresses in a static way, static mode, to Splynx. So, and then we define the dynamic based on the pools. And the third one is that a router itself will assign IP addresses. So here, if I add my IPv4 network, I have type of usage pool, and this pool can be used only as a pool, or I can also set up IP addresses statically from this pool. There is a configuration for that in the networking configuration, but I have it enabled so I can open my customer and his services, and then under service, when I'm adding a service, what I can select is how the IP address will be assigned. As you saw, it was a pool, but I can assign static IP from that pool as well. So I can say 105, for example, and customer will always get this IP address. So that's my first option. So if I go to my, what I can do in the PPP sessions, I can now just reset or kill out this connection. You see it came back with this IP5. And what I can do as well is let's change this from permanent to dynamic, and let's select this pool, because this is only one pool available now. So like it will be always assigned from that. But if I have many pools, I can define which pool is going to be used. So when I define it this way, again, the session immediately reconnects and customer got different IP. Okay, this is another option. And the third option that we have is that I can go there and say that router will assign IP. So it means, but for that settings, we must have inside a router, inside PPPoE server, we must have a pool that will be defined for this customer, for this service. You know, so that's if I have no pool, it will not be able to allocate or assign any IP. So here on the remote address, or I need to set up pool, for example, pool 1 IP pools. Pool 1 is this one, so it will use it, or let's change this pool to, for example, to 200 and 200 to see the difference. So now I will do it this way, and I don't want IPs to be assigned from Splynx. I want the router to assign it. So here you can see that the IP is not assigned by Splynx, but the session is active and IP address is 200. The disadvantage is that I haven't added this IP to my network list, so I don't see it in my networking, but here I can see it in my online sessions. But inside networking IP networks, I have no IPs. So I have, now I have added it as well. So I have added it before, which is good. So, and what we find there, that Splynx also can book this network IP, even if it doesn't allocate it. Okay, so there are three ways, as I said, that it doesn't matter how you decide to allocate or to assign IP addresses, pool, static, or router will do it. If you will add networks, as I did here, if the network is there, you can also track it inside Splynx. If I remove it from there, so you will not get it inside your IPv4 networks, but still customer will get authenticated, okay? And the next part of configuration is the radius configuration inside Splynx. If I want to touch my configuration to understand what's happening, is I need to scroll to radius there and load the configuration of this nest type of MikroTik. And there are plenty of settings. The most important settings for us is if you want to prevent duplicate sessions. There are different behavior, so we can leave and allow duplicate sessions. We can prevent it. It will just kick out the session, and this will clear the previous one. Or this is if we allow with negative account balance. What does that mean? If I do not allow it here, and I go to my customer, and the customer has, like this one, for example, has a negative balance. So he will not get access to internet. Okay, so he will get blocked. So in my case, I use with customers that pay me after invoice is generated. So always their balance will be changed. So I don't want these customers to be prevented, but for prepay scenario, it's good to have it. Okay, again, there are many other things, inverse accounting, process accounting without IP. This is used for some DHCP setups, but let's go to important things that we need to define is rate limiting. So this one is quite important. So this one means that I'm going to use this attribute to set up speed of my PPP session. Okay, so this one is my incoming port to kick out the session when customer is blocked, for example. And then this is very important, is how do I behave when customer is not authenticated. So first of all, if we use reject IP 1, 2, 3, it means that we always assign to customer IP addresses from these pools. Okay, so these pools, and here we have a description of it. If I'm not enabling this, it can lead that customer will not get any IP address. So he will be just rejected. Okay, so we can check it. We can now check two things. So this one is used for customer when he is not found, and this one when customer is blocked. Okay, so let's change it here to blocked clients, save and restart. So when this radius is restarted, I can now go to my customer and try to block the client. So this client, if I make him blocked, he becomes red. Okay, in the list of Splynx customers. As you can see here. And also his router should be disconnected. Let's click there. Let's open our router and check what's happening there. So we can see that the PPP active connection, the IP address of client was changed to 10.50.99.24, and also this IP address was put to blocked clients. So you can see that immediately the session was reconnected. And so if I want again to enable this customer, what I can do, I can just activate him. And here, if I kick out his session and he'll reconnect back, we see that he got this IP address again, and he is not put to the address list. Let's go there again. Let's check my radius configuration. So this pool was used, and also what we see that together with this pool, what happened is that customer was put to blocked clients. So if I will do the same thing for my customer, he doesn't exist when he is just completely disabled, he will be put doesn't exist, for example, pool, and he will get IP from this reject 0. So from this pool, okay, 64. Let's try it. Let's try to disable our client completely. Instead of blocking him, I'll move him to doesn't use service. So it means that this service doesn't exist. So he has no active service. He has only one that was before disabled, but he has no active PPPoE username and server and service and the password. So if I go to my router, what happens is that he got this IP, and also it should be added there, but it was not added, not sure why. But the most important part for us is that this IP was just, I think there might be some typo inside our radius configuration. Okay, this is the way how to find radius quickly, just using search. And here it's possible that I made some typo here. It's like it doesn't exist. DN clients, MikroTik address list. So that's, and I need to restart it. So let's restart and let's try to kick out the session. Okay, customer reconnects. Still got this fake IP address. What will be the next step in the config is, I guess he's not getting correctly accept, so that's why his IP is not put to this reject zero attribute. But if we will disable this, what will happen? The difference will be that the customer will not get any IP at all. So when I restart it, and when I will just switch this customer off, he will be trying to connect and connect and connect without success. So that's if I open my system logging, and inside logging, yeah, that's what's happening there. Radius timeout. That will show us this radius timeout, but it's not a timeout. It's just Radius is not authenticating this client completely at all. So it tries to establish it, but he's rejected. Okay, how to find out what's happening with Splynx? There are some logs. So let's go to administration and logs. Inside logs, we have files, and under files, there is a short log, and there's also that can have a debug log, but debug log is not available by default. We need to enable it in the configuration, advanced configuration of Radius. In the short log, I see all these messages. So this one is the customer that is trying to connect, and he's rejected. He's rejected silently, and router doesn't accept this PPPoE session and doesn't establish it. Okay, so this is the first option. How we can again see more details? Let's go to my configuration and Radius extended. So this is the second option, and I can enable debug log, okay, with a max level of 10. Scroll down, save, and click restore Radius. And the difference will be that under administration and files, I will find a new file that is called Radius debug. This one, Radius debug, and it starts to show me more. As you can see, unknown user, try to get error IP, cannot set error IP, set pre or reject. Okay, so again, but this is generating too many errors inside our router, and customers is generating too many attempts for PPPoE connection. Let's go back to our Radius configuration of MikroTik and scroll down and enable using of this fake pools. Yeah, let's make restart. And now when customer is connected, he'll get connected. And when he's connected, we will see inside administration files on debug and on short log, both of these files, we will see that customer was rejected, but it's IP accept attribute. So there is a difference. So customer got this fake IP that you can use then to forward this customer to some page or to block him. And inside debug, we can see that ignoring error IP accounting, but this IP was assigned to customer. How we can troubleshoot more? So also sometimes we need to see on the low level that Splynx is accepting some Radius packets. So to troubleshoot it, we need to connect to our Splynx server. So let's go to there, SSH, And I have my certificate there, so I don't need login. I don't need password to login. And then there is two daemons. The first one is service free radius. And this is the first that is used. You can see, and there is a second service, Splynx RADD service. So this Splynx RADD service is exactly what we see in our radius short, radius debug, radius COA messages. But we need to troubleshoot sometimes if free radius or if packets are arriving, if radius packets are arriving at all. So to do that, what I can do, I can kill all free radius and start free radius minus x66. Okay, kill all again because it's reloading it quickly. So here you can see now the full packets of radius communication. We can see that there is a customer trying to connect, friend user, access request, accounting request, different packets. Okay, so we can troubleshoot it there and understand if IP was reachable, if IP was assigned, whatever. So all the communication on radius level we can here find out, and together with this 3 files we can sort out what's happening. Thank you for your time, and let's continue to the next section that will be dedicated to DHCP.